Alex Webster, how's it going with you?
Very good, actually. Just we're home now in the United States after being gone in Europe for like a month and almost a month and a half. Actually, we were doing a bunch of touring throughout February and then into early March. So I've been home since Monday night. Happy to be back, definitely.
And you guys got a release soon for Torture. That's going to be
Yes.
released all around.
Yep, yeah, it actually was released worldwide as of Tuesday, and it had been released, I think, on last Friday, in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, but everywhere else it came out on Tuesday.
How do you think the reception is for this album compared to the old ones?
So far, it seems really good. It's I'll go look around various places online just to see what people are saying, because it's our latest album, so I'm very curious, and it seems like everyone really likes it. All people I'm friends with, of course, they're going to say that they like it. If they didn't like it, they'd probably be kind enough not to mention that to me. But anybody I know that's heard it, they seem to enjoy it. So far, so good. We're getting a lot of really good reviews too. Seems very positive, and that's what we want. We really. It makes us happy to know that other people like our music. So far, so good.
And Erik Rutan produced this, and it seems that he did a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Erik's killer. He had done Kill and Evisceration Plague for us, the two albums preceding Torture. So this is sort of the Rutan trilogy. Kill, Evisceration Plague, and Torture. And I think he's done a great job on all three, but Torture for sure is the best of the three, no question in my mind.
And what's in store for Cannibal Corpse in 2012? We got another tour coming up soon.
Yeah, we have a lot of tour plans, and still more being made. But I'll run down the stuff that we have lined up in the immediate future. Starting April 5th, we begin a relatively small American tour with Exhumed, Abysmal Dawn, and Archaic. So that's a really strong lineup, I think, just a pure death metal tour. And that, is going to be going to a bunch of cities in the United States that we're not playing in the summer. Summertime, we're playing Summer Slaughter Tour. And that'll be hitting a lot of the really big cities like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Phoenix, all the bigger places. So we're going to try and get to maybe some of those cities with a smaller population on this tour we're doing in April. That way we get pretty good coverage of most of North America by the end of the summer. So we have those two tours lined up in North America, and then for June we're going to be heading to Europe again and doing a big festival run, and we're playing a lot of different festivals over there with a lot of different bands, Sweden Rock, Grass Pop with Full Force, Roskilde in Denmark. There's a whole bunch of different festivals we're playing. We're also doing some club dates too, but it should be a really great experience all the way around. It's going to be a fun tour. So lots of shows. By the end of the year, we should have played, I would imagine, at least 150 shows this year. So probably like at least one out of every 3 days this year will have been a concert for.
Now, Alex, let's say the reception of death metal in general, like the audience, is it getting better with the crowds, like bringing in the crowds to the shows?
I think it's a lot stronger than people realize. When we do a death metal tour where it's just like totally death metal, it winds up being very successful. And we have tried some mixed packages where we're touring with, bands from other genres of extreme metal or even hardcore. And those, we have mixed results. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes not. But when we do a tour where it's just 100% death metal, it works out really well. Last tour we did in America for Evisceration Plague was us, Dying Fetus, Vital Remains, and Devourment. And that tour just did amazing. All these shows were really packed, and the fans loved it. So there's still a strong death metal scene. I think it's just a matter of putting together the right tour package to get them out. There's a lot of young blood being infused into the death metal scene by kind of like guys who are part of the metalcore and the deathcore scene, and then they start to learn about like just full-on pure death metal, and they join the death metal scene. So there's young blood, and then there's plenty of old fans that are still into it too. And between those two things, it's still a very strong scene. We've done a lot of great tours that are full death metal, and we will continue to do so. Like the one in April, I guarantee that it'll do well. Just because if I was into death metal, I would go see that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I would, if even without us on the bill, I would go see that tour. Exhumed, Abysmal Dawn, and Archaic. That's a good 3-band bill. So with us headlining, it's kind of something that you almost have to go see if you're into death metal.
You must be proud throughout all these years, with the name Cannibal Corpse, how long it's been going strong, and still rising with new releases and stuff. Should be a good feeling.
Yeah, we're definitely proud of how long we've been able to keep it going, but we're also, humbled by the fact that it is our fans that make it possible, and we want to, work as hard as we can to make sure we're giving them what they deserve, which is the best death metal that we can do. I mean, we really work hard to put on the best live show we can and to make the best albums we can. So, yeah, we're proud of our accomplishments, but we also know that we owe it to our fans for us being where we are, and we want to make sure that we do the best for ourselves and for them, by working our asses off.
Let's go back to Torture. Let's say the bass tracks on it. Was it done like you always do your bass tracks, like for equipment-wise and stuff? How did you go into this?
I did use a little bit different equipment this time. From the time we did Evisceration Plague, right shortly after that we recorded that album, I switched to SWR amps, and I wound up having a really cool amp to work with for the studio. I got an SWR 750X head, which I really like. It's a really good head for metal, has a good growl to it. And I used a Megaliath cabinet for, let me think, I used a Boss bass overdrive pedal. Barely had it turned on, but it was just enough to give me a little bit of growl and a little bit more presence to help me cut through. And then I used my Spectre basses, which I've been using for quite a few years now. So there was a little bit of a change-up, and I think it wound up working out really well. To me, you can pretty much hear the bass on the whole album without having to strain your ears like you do on some of these extreme metal recordings. I want the bass to be an equal member in Cannibal Corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily more important than any other instrument, just equal. And I think we managed to do that.
And then it gives that big punch into that, because if you don't have the bass, it's not good.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I think it's a lot more important than people realize to have a good bass sound and to have the bass really be sitting in a good place in the mix. I think it's very important, and that concept's kind of been lost on some of the modern metal bands. So I'm definitely fighting to have the bass be an important part of a metal band for sure.
Now, Alex, let's say with the songs you guys released on Torture, is there leftover songs that we're going to see in the future, or has it all been placed on this album?
Everything that the band worked on together wound up being on the album. I mean, I had a few song ideas at home that I never showed to the other guys. That I don't know what will end up happening to those. I might just never use them for anything, or I might try and rework them when we write the next album. But everything we practiced together, we recorded. 12 songs, bam, we just did all 12. And that's how it worked out. We had originally thought about maybe only doing 10 songs on the album and keeping it shorter, but we were so happy with all 12 songs, we didn't want to cut any of them out. So we put all of them on the album.
Excellent stuff, Alex. We touched the subjects of Torture and the tours, so I appreciate you taking the time with me today.
Oh, no problem at all. Thanks so much for the interview. And what part of the country are you from? Because I think we're going to be playing all over North America, so chance to see us at some point.
I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada, actually.
Oh, no kidding. Well, man, we never get up there. We got to get up there one of these days. That's one of the few places we haven't been, because we want to get up to Nova Scotia and play. It's been way too long. I know I keep getting emails from dudes in Halifax that say that they like us. It's time. The Nova Scotia gig needs to happen. So please, if you do know somebody who brings bands to town,